You guys want to give it a shot?
Yeah.
Two very easy questions. A fifth grader can get them.
I don't know if I can get it.
You'll get it. So here I have a box truck, 3 different box trucks, and there's a bowling ball hanging with a string. I want to see if you could tell me. So one of them is accelerating forward, one of them is accelerating in reverse, and one of them is at rest. So out of these 3, which one is at rest? So which one is at rest out of these 3?
Well, it's a true question.
No, it's a real question. So
at rest, it's got to be B.
It is, yeah, exactly. Which one is accelerating forward?
This one.
Why is that one accelerating forward?
Going forward, going back.
Exactly. The ball appears to swing back. And I can show that here, look, with this. It's a ping pong ball. Again, it's more dense in the air.
Yeah.
If I accelerate this way, what ball is the direction going to swing? Exactly. It goes this way. Exactly. You got it. That's the first one. You already got it. So the second one is pretty similar. But in this case, I have a helium balloon inside the box truck. Okay. So out of these 3, which one is at rest?
Balloons be going back and forth. They be moving around.
Sure. Which one's at rest, though?
B.
You got it? So which one is accelerating forward?
C.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah. And again, I can show that here. So this is a buoyant object. It's less dense than the medium that surrounds it, just like the helium balloon with air. If I accelerate in this direction, what direction will the ball go?
It'll go wherever the direction is going.
It's the direction of the force, exactly. So that's the direction it goes, exactly, because it's less dense. So the air moving in that same direction, or the water in this case, is able to push anything that's less dense in that same direction because it's more dense.
Gotcha.
So again, buoyancy always follows the direction of the force 100% of the time. So let me show you something here, real quick. I should have had this right here. So I have 2 containers here. One of them I actually accelerated down, and one of them I didn't. So which one did I accelerate down? The one on the left or the one on the right? So the red, the one on the right, exactly. So the ping pong ball gets pushed down in the direction of acceleration, and the steel ball just swings in the opposite direction. Again, when something swings in the opposite direction, it's simply being left behind. That's what's happening, because in space it's not really moving, it's the whole container that's moving, and that more dense object is being left behind. So in other words, matter will always react to acceleration, always, 100% of the time. So the one on the left here is actually free fall. So do you believe when I'm holding something like this and I release it into free fall, you believe it accelerates down?
Yeah.
Well, the fact is, again, matter shows that there is no physical downwards acceleration in free fall. Because when I actually accelerate, we see the effects of acceleration. So, and I don't know if you knew, gravity is just a theory. So the fact is that gravity has never been measured, because there's never been a matter never detects acceleration in free fall. So a detectable force in free fall has never been measured. So that's why gravity has never been proven. So the fact is we understand buoyancy always follows the direction of the force. If I have a helium balloon here and I release it, what direction does the helium balloon go? So why does it go up? Well, again, it's the same reason.
The same concept you were telling me about right now?
So it's the air that's pushing it up.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because the air is more dense than helium, so it's able to push it up. But we know inanimate matter cannot move by itself, so what's pushing up the air to be able to push up the helium? It's the ground. So it's the ground that's pushing up the air, that's compressing the air, and then the air is able to push up the helium. But something that's more dense in the air, like this phone, and I release it, the air's not able to push that up. So this only appears to accelerate down, but that's because it's the Earth that comes up to meet this. So that's what's happening. When you release something into free fall, that didn't move down to the Earth. It's the Earth that moved up to the object. So that's the force. The force is up. So the force is not a pulling force of the Earth, it's a pushing force of the Earth. So you guys believe the Earth is a ball, right?
Yeah.
So if we could prove that it's the Earth literally pushing up, moving up, and up is relative on a ball. So in other words, up is this way. If you're down here, up is this way. So in every direction away from the center, if we could prove, how can the Earth be moving up simultaneously in every direction if it was a ball? So the fact is it wouldn't work. That would mean the Earth will have to be growing by the second, and it will eventually explode. So in order for people to believe in the ball Earth theory, they first have to believe in the theory of gravity. So that's why we're told that theory of a pulling force, because if we could prove that it's the ground literally pushing up instead, then the whole globe Earth model falls apart. So the fact is the Earth is a level plane, and we're all standing on it, and it's literally pushing up right now. So you're not being pulled down to the Earth right now, it's the Earth pushing up against you right now. So that's the fact.
There's an edge to it.
So the Earth is a contained system. So maybe the government have found this containment, But that's when, in my opinion, that's when NASA was established, to lie to everybody about what the Earth actually is, because they don't want us to find out what they found out. So there's no edge, there's an end to the Earth. So it's a thing contained by a physical barrier, in my opinion. So we're inside of it. So nobody's been outside of the Earth. That's the fact. You know. Again, you guys heard of the second law of thermodynamics, right? It has to do with entropy.
Yeah, naturally.
So basically what that means is, in order to have two opposing pressure systems next to each other, so if you have a vacuum and a pressurized system, in order to keep them separated, you need a solid barrier separating them. As soon as you remove that solid barrier, you have equilibrium. So the air will always rush to the lower pressure until it equilibrates.
Is the expansion of a gas into a vacuum. I have in one of these bulbs some bromine, and in the other I have a vacuum. And if I open the tap between these two, you will see spontaneously the bromine rush from one to the other. Now that is the simplest change we can have, perhaps, because all that happens is a change in entropy. In this case, the expansion into a vacuum, nothing else is involved. There's no energy change, there's no temperature change, there's no change except entropy.
So the fact is that they're claiming outer space is an open system, which is a vacuum next to Earth's pressure system, without a solid barrier. That defies physics. That defies the second law of thermodynamics, because the air will literally instantly rush out into space and fill the empty space. But again, the Earth, in my opinion, is being contained by a physical barrier. That's the only way to maintain pressure.
So you do as a project?
No, I'm doing this out of my free time. Yeah, I found this out almost 10 years ago, and I've been doing this for about 3 years, coming out and speaking to people. And I'm gonna tell you this, over 95% of flat earthers are all in on it as well. They're all bullshitting as well. All YouTubers online, they're all bullshitters. Why? Because they're claiming the Earth is motionless. What does that mean? They also believe that there's a magical force in free fall that cannot be detected or measured. So they're having this fake debate with globe Earth. So flat Earth versus globe Earth is a false dichotomy. So they're both in on it. That's a controlled opposition. Have you guys ever heard of that term? Controlled opposition. So it's basically it's two sides of the same coin. In other words, the whole mainstream flat Earth and the globe Earth, they're all bullshitters. So people like myself are completely being suppressed, super censored online, and yeah, that's why they're keeping this information from real people. And that's why I'm coming out to speak to people like you guys, because there's no other way to present this.
So
yeah.
When there's like NASA goes to space, what is that?
So NASA is just Disney for adults.
So it's fake.
It's all CGI, yeah.
So that whole trip back in.
Yeah, the moon landing, even Mars, the rover that they're supposedly have on Mars right now, it's all fake. Yeah. So the lights, if you guys look, let me just show you guys real quick what the stars actually look like. Because a lot of people think that the stars are other planets and stuff like that, but the reality is that the stars are just lights in the sky. So this is what the stars actually look like when you zoom into them. They're just lights that are twinkling in water. It looks like they're just twinkling in water. So this is what Mars looks like, but this is what NASA shows us. They show us a cartoon, but this is what it actually looks like. They're literally just no different than the other stars. So again, what they're showing us is all just bullshit to make us believe in the heliocentric model that we've been outside of the Earth and there's other planets, and all of that is just to feed the idea of a globe Earth, which the fact is nobody's been outside of the Earth. You know.
So do you believe that there's no other planet on Earth?
No. The word planet is just made up, so it's a plane. They just added a T to the end of that. Called it a planet. I do, definitely. Yeah. I'm actually live streaming right now, so you guys can check it out. But here's my channel. So
You record without my consent.
well, you're in public, so we're being recorded all the time. Yeah, this is public right here. This is public sidewalk. Yeah, I tried to go in there and they kicked me out. So right here's fine. You know, I don't mind.
William?
Yeah, you want to take one? Yeah, I'm William. Yeah, man. Nice to meet you, man. Appreciate the chat. You guys take care. All right.